Oh, shit. Okay, I'm shutting it off. I mean, that's a doozy. That is a doozy, even for me. And I do some really good oil spills.
It's not. Oh my God!
All right, let's see if we can find out what the hell we got going on here. Let's close this. Right there. That's just the scanner. What's up? It's Casey from Caseyscustoms. We're back on the F-scalade that I got from my buddy Tom at Tom's REFURB. It is a 60s F100 truck on top of a modern Cadillac ESV chassis, all-wheel drive, 6.0 LS. Ton of fun. In this video, I'm going to try and see if I can't get it started. In the last video, I got the Cadillac firewall mounted inside the truck cab, and now we need to plug in about 250 different wires. We got some stuff that's broke, some stuff that needs fixed, and also, I think it's time to start cutting the truck up. Let's get to work! All right, we are back on the F-scalade. In the last video, I got the Cadillac firewall in the cab of the truck, which is huge because basically all of the wiring goes through the steering columns on modern cars. And as you can see, nothing is plugged in. So we have a lot of shit we got to plug in, we got to figure out. I also still have to bolt up the brakes. I think that's the e-brake. The brake pedal, the throttle, all that. The good news is that bolts to the cradle. There's a couple studs that I think are on the floor that we might have cut out because we kind of had to shorten the floor a little bit. A Ford F100 firewall is about a foot shorter than a Cadillac, even though we did raise the cab up a little bit. I also got the cab mounted. These are quotation marks, not bunny ears. Mounted. In reality, it's just kind of tack welded in place because whenever I was trying to get the firewall in there, the entire cab would want to move around side to side because she is a rusty old girl and it has just about tripped. She is a rusty old girl and it has been cut up a lot for the chassis swap. So it's just not there. It's certainly not exactly where it's going to be. I'm still not sure what I want to do with the different wheelbase situation we have going on. The Cadillac is 130-inch wheelbase. The F100, I think, was 128. So I have 2 inches there. 2 inches is only like this much, to be honest with you. 2 inches is tiny. I mean, that's 8 or 9 inches right there. So we have a little bit of an issue. I scooted the wheels forward because I think they look better, but we might have went too much. Might need to go back a little bit. Not sure. What we might end up doing is cutting the cab right here and stretching it, having a 2-inch section right through there. And then that would get our bed centered on our rear wheels. And then we could also scoot the cab back just a little bit more. Or no, scoot the cab forward just a little bit more to not only get the wheel a little more back. I still think they look better a little bit forward, but we might have went too far. And then that'll also give me more room whenever we start figuring out our radiator situation. But not worrying about any of that just yet. What I want to do is make sure this engine still runs. There shouldn't be anything that needs rewired. I think there's 1 or 2 wires that got scuffed, maybe from pulling on them, but everything has been unplugged. So almost all of it should be able to be plugged back in. We will have to reattach a bunch of grounds because, let me see, there was one over here somewhere. Whenever you have a chassis swap, you have to end up redoing all of your grounds because this used to go to the old Cadillac body. We don't have a Cadillac body anymore, so we got to remake all these. There's probably 20 of those that need done, stuff like that. But the main goal for this video, I'm going to try and get everything put back together that it thinks it's still a Cadillac. We can plug it in, see what the hell happens. That sounds so much easier in theory than it is actually doing the work. But either way, let's get to it. I think the first thing I want to do is get the brakes actually bolted up because right now they're just sitting there. I want to make sure I get them all the way in, bolted up. And then, I don't know if you can see down in there, but we need to hook up the actual push rod that goes to the brake pedal. So I'm going to probably bolt this to the firewall and then we will put the brakes back in there and try and get them actually hooked up. Let's go. So I found out the brake has to go in before the steering. So we opened up a whole can of worms. Figured I'd touch base with you. It says the time lapse is running for like 3 hours. Good times! Oh, this is turning out to be harder than putting the freaking firewall in. Holy shit. I'm not even gonna bother showing you where I'm at because you can't tell yet, but we're about halfway there after 4 hours. Damn. Oh my gosh. So after about a full day of work, we can finally start plugging stuff in. This was a pain in the ass. All right, steering column is back in. Steering is hooked back up. Brakes are hooked up. Throttle is hooked up. And looks like I'm gonna try and raise this up a little bit. Well, I probably can't now because there's more bracing in there whenever I tied in the brakes. There's a giant plate that goes in the cradle. But as you can see, these are a little too low. Well, they might be all right. Well, take that back. Throttle's too low, brakes probably cool. But we're gonna have to shorten those most likely because the Caddy firewall was so much bigger than this one. We can finally start plugging some shit in and seeing what we need, what we have, what we don't have. We should have everything, but who knows? There is quite literally 500 things that need plugged in. So, let's get going. Oh, that sucked. Also, it is hot and humid. Even though it's the middle of the night, it's still like 90 in this damn thing. Okay, this took a full day. I was not expecting it to take that long. We have so many wires that weren't plugged in, I started getting nervous. But this is all headlight shit. Headlight, horns, stuff like that. And then there's a headlight module. I was like, that's got to go to something, right? No. This was the headlight module. That is the antenna Sirius radio shit. And then there was some stuff that was unplugged underneath the car. He unplugged it, obviously, so he could mess with the floor. So I had to crawl up under there and get that. I think I got them all, but it's kind of hard to tell under there. But I'm pretty sure there is a ton of stuff for the dash. Obviously, it's all digital dash, so that makes sense. So we have a bunch of this shit that I was worried about, but I looked up speedometer and all that stuff. That's this. So no big deal. Should be everything. We still need to make new grounds. There is, I believe, 2 or 3 back here. That's your gas tank ground. I don't really have to do that, but I can. There was another one somewhere. And then there was, I think, 2 under the dash and then 2 at the battery. And then 1 at the engine. So we have to do a lot of grounds tomorrow. And what I'll probably do is tie some of them into the chassis and then tie some of them into the body. Even though the body's probably still going to move around a little bit, it'll be good to have it all grounded just in case. Sometimes, let's say it bolts to the firewall. Sometimes these need to be grounded and they will be through the firewall, so you should have a body ground going too. So tomorrow we'll come in, make all the grounds, and then for now I'm just going to set the battery right here, but we will eventually start having to figure out where we're going to put our battery box, where all this shit's going to go. What we don't need, can we cut and get rid of? Sometimes these new ones, they don't like having stuff cut off, even if it's not being used. But that would be the goal, because that's a lot of shit. But we should be able to hide a lot of this underneath the inner fenders that I'm going to make. Your stock inner fenders go like that. We don't really need them like that. You can see how much room you have. So I'm going to cut these off. This side was so rusty, it just fell off anyway. And then I'm going to do an inner fender that's a lot lower, and then we'll have all this for space. And you could also do it the other way, where you put your inner fender up real high and then tuck all your wiring shit underneath it. But I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. Not super worried about it. Tomorrow we come in, make new grounds, plug a battery in, see what the hell happens. I do not have the dash, but since it has an OB2 right there, I have a gauge cluster that I can plug into that whenever I had my LS swapped 57. So I should be able to essentially have a dash that we can double check stuff. I also have a code reader tuner, so we can plug it in and see if something's going on. And we can use, hopefully, the tuner to find out if something isn't plugged in that needs to be. I'm almost certain I got everything, but there's so many plugins, you just don't know. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to go to bed. It's late. God, I can't believe how long that took. But this now Still just tack welded at the top, and then I have sheet metal screws at the bottom. This is like the whole freaking thing moves. So very, very happy how much that tied in and everything. And there's still 2 more braces that I don't even have bolted in right now. So really happy with how strong that is. All right, we'll be back.
The next day.
All right, baby, we are back. It's time to start making some grounds, double checking some stuff. I want to get power to this thing. I got a wiring diagram last night, and I was looking at it. I think I have like 10 grounds that need to be hooked to something, and I think about 2 of them are right now. So, gonna make a bunch of new grounds. Might even weld like a bar or something across here to kind of hold up the bed, and then I can ground it to it. Not sure yet. The reason I say that is because we have an ungodly amount of things unplugged. Lots and lots of stuff. And the reason that is because this isn't a Cadillac Escalade anymore. It doesn't have heated seats and 4-door power windows and all that stuff. New cars are so weird, there could be one little funky plug somewhere that isn't plugged in that could cause it not to run. And I mean, I have so many things not plugged in. There's also stuff under the truck, and I'm not sure. I think I got everything. Like I did, spent the whole day yesterday going through it, but there might still be one somewhere. I'm gonna make all the grounds new, double check everything again before I throw power to it and see what happens. We might need to get this thing jacked up so we can go underneath it and double check. The only problem is, how do you jack up a truck that's not attached to anything? The bed is held up with jack stands. The front end is held up with jack stands. The cab is okay, but if I start lifting the frame back here, everything's just gonna fall on itself. So if we get the grounds made, throw power to it, and nothing happens, we're gonna have to weld mounts to something so we can actually hold it up and get it up in the air on jack stands. Not looking forward to that, but you know, to get one thing done, you usually have to do like 3 other things. That's kind of car building. Anyways, let's get to work. Got all the grounds done. I had to make it extra difficult, but I added a bunch of extras, making sure that engine was grounded to the frame was grounded to the battery, and then the battery was grounded to the body, and the engine was grounded to the body, just in case. We got lots of extras, so I had to drill a bunch of holes. But everything is grounded, good to go. I have, out of all the wires on this entire car, this is the only one, or these 3 right here were the only ones that got damaged, and it looks like they didn't even get cut. It was probably just from taking the body off. It rubbed up against something. So I'm gonna solder those back together, cut out the bad spots, and then what I'm gonna do, I really need to jack this thing up because I think a couple of these plugs go underneath. Usually you'd think, oh, hey, that's a plug. Look it up online, see what it goes to. This is a bad example because this is a dash, but you go, okay, here, part number on the side, look it up. You do that on a Cadillac and they have the same plug for 7 different connections. So I don't know, maybe it's a radio, maybe it's a, whatever, who knows? Maybe it's an important ground, not sure. So running into that, I think we're good. I made sure all the important stuff was plugged in on the engine, throttle, air, all that fun stuff, starter. So we should be good there, but I'm gonna go back through and double check before we throw a battery in, and I'm gonna have to get underneath the damn thing because whenever the floor was off, he took all of the plugs off of the main harness, obviously because he didn't want to cut anything or have a wire catch on fire. But my dumbass welded the floor in whenever I was trying to get the body squared away. And now I can't go in from the top. I have to come up from the bottom. And that is tricky whenever you have a cab that is kind of mounted to the chassis, but the bed isn't and the front end isn't really. So either way, let's fix these wires real quick, and then I'm gonna get underneath the bitch and we'll see what happens. Okay, had to make an executive decision and cut the floor out. The good news is I didn't have it welded very good yet. It was just kind of a really solid tack weld. And I am lifting the floor because I can't get under the frame, and I don't want to move the frame because everything is pretty damn close to where it needs to be. And there is several things that need... Is that a cut on the frame right there? There's several things that need plugged in, and then not only that, even if I could jack it up, this wiring harness is on the wrong side of the frame. It's supposed to be on the top and wrapping around, and it's on the bottom and it's hanging down. So I'm gonna flip that around while I got it out. Is that a cut right there on the chassis? Oh shit, yes it is. Okay, we need to weld that. Whoopsie! We gotta make fun of Tom for that, because that wasn't me. Maybe we cut the frame down and make it a short bed, because it's already got a little cut in it. We could. Boy, we certainly could. God, it's a lot of work though. We're not even having that conversation yet. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this damn floor up a little bit farther. Come on, go a little bit farther. I technically have it screwed into the firewall part that's there, and I don't want to it broke. I was gonna say I don't want to unscrew it very badly, but we might have to. Damn it, it's so perfect where it's at though. Oh, well this is a piece of shit ratchet strap. All right, let's try with a real ratchet strap, see what happens. It should work. I don't have to go much higher either. I'm almost there. We're gonna definitely time lapse it though, just in case my dumb ass takes an hour doing this. All right, this actually worked great. A couple different plugs I needed. There is a broken plug right here on the transmission. I have no idea what that is. I think that's Speedo back there, but I could be wrong. I think that's Speedo, but that's like a $3 plug I gotta buy. Everything else is hooked up that we have. We can put this back down and finally hook a damn battery up and see what happens. Let's go. All right, moment of truth. I thought it sparked a little bit, but maybe it didn't. I have the keys in my pocket. Here's my little dash / screen. We're gonna see what happens. Just putting the key in. I don't want to get too cute yet, just in case something isn't happy. Nothing happened. That's not good. Uh-oh. Why isn't anything happening? Oh, shit. Why is my screen not working? Oh, there it goes. Okay, okay. The fuel pump already turned off. That's not a good sign. Unless it built pressure that fast. Oh, check out my little screen. It's got overspray all over it. This was from an LS swap like 2 years ago. Yeah, it's hard to see. Okay. Boy, it thinks the brakes are out of whack or something. Thinks the pitch is weird too. Oh, that's from those stupid, I can't remember what they're called. Air or something. Ambient air sensor, I think maybe is what it's called. All right, I smell gas. So it might already have pressure, but I'm not sure. I guess we just hit the button and see what happens. Let's see here. I want to listen to the fuel pump one more time. Off. Okay, builds up pressure fast. Make sure we're in park. We should be in park, although it's not really hooked up, but let's... Oh shit, it tried to actually start. Oh shit, it ain't happy. Okay, we got something out of whack. It is not happy, but it wants to start. Oh shit. Oh. Oh, I just broke. Hey, actually, I broke that, but I can see it better now. That's fun. Whoopsie. Good thing this was cheap. I just shot oil all over the place. I don't know if my camera caught that. Holy shit. Wow. I mean, we have to do it again for science now. Just once. We're not going to do it too many more times. Okay, I'm shutting it off. Yeah, you should definitely make sure you have your oil cooler hooked up, you fucking moron. Oh, no. Is that oil or transmission? That's oil. Okay. Transmission would have been next. Do I have an external oil or does it go through the radiator? Those, I think both of those go to the radiator. Yeah. Okay, so it wants to start. We're definitely not going to start it again because of how much oil we just lost. But I don't know why it doesn't want to idle. We might actually have to... We might have to cut into this radiator and just get it sitting up there. The only problem is I gotta do a shitload of work to get the radiator in there. Oh, here it is. Here's the other one too. Okay. Right there and right there. That definitely goes to the radiator. So the radiator has to be in. I have no clue what this goes to then. So it wants to run, but it's not happy. It could be because we don't have an air filter on. There is literally oil everywhere. Holy shit. Oh, transmission fluid's back here. Okay, cool. So we made sure we spilled everything everywhere. Holy crap. Let's undo this battery before we forget. It runs! I can't believe it! I was 100% sure it wasn't going to run. We definitely need to get the radiator hooked up, though. Definitely. I mean, that's a doozy. That is a doozy, even for me. And I do some really good oil spills. Look at all the transmission fluid. Yeah, my dumbass should have known that was going to happen. I thought I'd have a second. What I want to do is, whenever I get back in there, hit the pedal and make sure the throttle's opening, because that's all electronic and it can get kind of funky. The main thing that I'm worried about, I mean, I'm less worried now because it's working. There is a relay box in here that I believe is just for dash stuff, but I'm not sure. But, I mean, look how many relays are missing out of that. So that could definitely be something. We might need to get a hold of Tom and have him send me the dash and shit. He had the instrument gauges and stuff. I wasn't going to use them, and we both forgot about it because we goofed off for 4 or 5 hours instead of worried about the truck I was buying. She runs, baby. I'm stoked. Here's the problem. I don't have any kitty litter for that, so I got to clean all that up before we can do anything, and... You would think, throw the radiator in. Nope. The radiator, I don't have clearance. Even if I take the radiator out of this giant core support, I don't have clearance because of the old radiator. The Ford radiator was, I mean, probably 18 inches narrower than that big bastard. We'll probably have to come in here, cut this way down. Also, whenever I cut the floor, not only did I need to lift it up because there were several things that needed plugged in, my shifter needed hooked back up, I wanted to go ahead and scoot the cab forward a little bit because I think what I'm going to do is actually split the cab right here, and this whole 2 or 3 extra inches of wheelbase that I've been fighting, I'm just going to cut it right there, and then we can make sure everything is centered. People said keep it where it's at, it's perfect, but I'm cool with the wheels being more forward in the front. I'm definitely not going to move them all the way back to stock. Stock is like probably here somewhere, and I don't love that, but they are a little too forward right now. But the thing I didn't like was the rear is not centered. And a lot of people said it looks great, it's perfect. It's way off. It's hard to tell in the video, but your axle should be centered between these two body braces. And it looks good right there, but that's because the bed isn't sitting. Whenever the bed is actually sitting, this back line is damn near at the axle. So it needs to be at least an inch or 2 back. I think what we'll do is scoot our cab and fenders forward an inch or 2. Nothing crazy. I still want the front axle a little bit forward because I think it looks better, but that will gain me more room up here for the radiator with all that being up here. But that is obviously going to make this gap worse, but that's okay because we're going to give it the old right down there. Right across the back of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the back of this tied into the bed. I actually have a little spacer in there right now. I will take the spacer out, so essentially you almost turn it into a unibody where the bed is just touching the cab. I kind of like them when they look like that anyway. We might even tack weld it in there. Then we can cut this and we can just stretch it. It should be easier because if the bed isn't attached and you cut that, it's just going to fall all over the place. Sweet! No clue what I'm going to do tomorrow, but I am freaking stoked. That is awesome. I'm not bummed it didn't idle. I know something's going on why it didn't idle, but I'm also kind of happy it didn't idle because I could have probably pumped out the entire engine's worth of oil by the time I shut it off because that was crazy. I mean, it was just cranking over, and that's probably a couple quarts, and you can run them dry real fast. So it's good we shut it down when we did. But that's great, man. We are really, really close. We got So much wires to hide on this thing. It's not going to be fun, but that's okay. Awesome. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow with a bunch of kitty litter. Oil spill, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I'm stoked. That was dope.
The next day.
We are back. I've been in here a couple hours cleaning up friggin' messes and whatnot, but good to go. Very happy. Now, what I want to do, I talked last night about putting the radiator in. I'm an idiot. It's middle of the night. I wasn't thinking. All I got to do is block my feed and my return. I just got to connect those with a hose clamp. I need to do it on the transmission side too. But before we do that, because I think I can get it running a little bit better than it was. I have tuning software, but I am not a tuner. I can kind of just read it like a monkey can read, which is not great, but I can see the screen and the flashing lights. But I can't do any of that yet until we add more oil to it, because there was probably 3 quarts. And if you're going to add 3 quarts to a 6 quart or however much this is, I should probably look it up, you might as well change the oil. It was also pretty dark. So got a new filter, got some transmission fluid, got some oil. Luckily, we didn't lose as much trans fluid as I thought we did, but we need to top that off as well. So let's change some oils real quick. Then we're going to hook up a couple wires, block these guys off. That one just wants to go right there already. That's nice. And then try and fire it up again and see what happens. So let's do all that. Okay, got the oil changed. Parts store sold me the wrong filter. That was fun. Luckily, I had one. Have no idea what it was to. Might have been another LS I had, but it fit, so that was good. Cleaned up a couple vacuum lines that weren't hooked up. I have no real reason to think anything should be different from last night, but last night I didn't get to, try and start it very much because of the massive amounts of oil we had hitting the wall. So let's see what happened. Okay, same thing basically. Okay, so it's definitely killing itself. I have a feeling it's the exhaust because we have no cats on right now. So I think it's my downstream O2 sensors don't know what to do and they're probably just killing it. But I have my laptop over there. I'm going to plug it in. We'll see what the hell it says. All right, let's see if we can find out what the hell we got going on here. Let's close this. Where's my tuner at? Right there. That's just the scanner. All right, we're going to run some shit and see what the hell happens. All right, so every problem I have is related to the throttle positioning sensor. So I have to have something that's not plugged in or something that's not grounded. I just don't know what it is yet. Switch AB voltage. Yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole, try and read what the hell that could be, but it's definitely related to throttle positioning sensor. So I'm gonna go double check all my plugs in case something is not attached. I am almost certain everything is, but there's a lot of shit down under there. So let me spend some time and see what the hell's going on. We could also have I didn't even think about it. We could have a blown fuse somewhere too. I never even checked any of those. Also, that oil was very old. She hadn't had an oil change in a long, long time. But all right, let me do some diagnostic shit. The problem with that is you can spend like 10 hours doing diagnostic shit and the video will be the most boring video ever. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on it. We're definitely going to finish the video that way. We're going to cut the shit out of something before this baby's over. Let me play computers for a little bit, and then we'll see what happens. Changed like 10 different grounds. Came up here to start messing with the throttle body. It was already unbolted. So I need to call Tom and see if he wasn't having issues with this before we even started the swap. But I do want to start it, and I'm going to try and give it gas and see if that's opening at all. It doesn't feel right. Usually those are pretty smooth. I don't think it's moving at all. I had it floored right there. I need to watch the video back, but it could still be a relay. I have a bunch of relays missing, but I think he was driving it without them. I'm going to have to get a hold of him and talk to him. So let me watch this video back. All right, I'm pissed. It's not working. I'm tired of messing with it. Wasted a whole night. We're gonna wedge it open, unplug it. It's definitely gonna die, but it should run a little bit longer, like maybe seconds longer. Let's see what happens. Never mind, didn't work at all. What if we unplug the battery and then do it? Maybe it'll do it then. We got issues. I'm hoping it's wiring, but it could also be that. That feels like shit. Even being unplugged with no power to it, it doesn't feel right to me. Alright, I'm done. I gotta call Tom, figure out what the hell's going on. I need to know what he did and what he didn't do, and then I can kind of figure out what the hell is... Oh, yeah. Oh, that thing smoked. I never let it drop before. I was always worried about the other way. Yeah. That does not feel great. Also, this plug is filthy. Somebody added this plug at some point, and it's a cheapy little knockoff. And it's corroded all to shit. Last time before we unplug it and get rid of it. Boy, it wants to go so freaking bad. It wants to! Alright, we might as well check the laptop one more time while I got it, and then I'm cutting something. I don't even know what I'm cutting yet, but I'm cutting something. And then we're calling it a damn video. Last try, it's not happy. We're cutting it up if it doesn't work this time. Sounds good. I'm done. All right, we are definitely not ending a video, spending a day wiring, kind of hearing the engine run, but not hearing the engine run. I don't know if I have a relay issue. I don't know if I have something plugged in that should be. I don't see anything left that needs plugged in. Tom says he still has a bunch of stuff that we forgot. So maybe there's something in there that needs plugged in, or it could be 10 different relays that are out. It could also be a bad throttle body, and then I need to change that. I'm not sure. I'm going to touch base with him, but there's no way we're ending a video with 12 hours of diagnostic bullshit. It's time to cut this baby. We are keeping it as a long bed. I was flirting with making it a short bed, but he actually had a drawing of this. I don't know when he made it, but it was on his Instagram a couple of years ago, and I actually saw it when he first did it. And I really liked the drawing, and it was a long bed. So I'm saying, you know what? We're going to keep true to the tradition. I also don't hate long beds. I just like short beds better, but this one kind of fits. Also, we're going with the low buck thing. You know, like if we were trying to make a badass hot rod, one, we wouldn't start off with maybe one of the worst bodies I've ever seen. I mean, she's a rough old girl. Two, if LS swap, I would delete all that wiring and just buy an aftermarket kit. It would look a lot cleaner. There'd be much less wiring to hide, but you start doing stuff like that, and all of a sudden you're in it for 15 grand or something crazy, and that kind of kills the vibe on the low budget thing. So it's time to cut something up. I am probably not going to have time to weld anything back, but we are definitely going to cut some shit up. The goal, I want to scoot the cab forward about 2 inches. Everything should still be loose other than this right here. I tack welded that a little bit too good. I had self-tappers in there to hold it, and then I tacked it. That, I believe, won't let my cab go forward a little bit. Technically, the whole floor should slide, but no, it won't because it's bolted. Yeah, so I need to cut that loose, and then we can slide it forward just a little bit. I re-bolted this up, and I took my little spacer out so it is tucked right against it. So whenever that goes forward, we will know exactly how much we need to move it back. You can already tell just by taking the spacer out that we're already a little bit out. Here is those back spots I was talking about. See? Way too close to the rear end. So let's see if we can't scoot the old girl forward, see how much we need to cut it, and then we're going to give her the old whoosh right there and call it a video. End on a big old cliffhanger after we cut the whole damn truck in half. All right, let's move some shit. All right, cab is up about 1.5 inches, which makes this perfect, but it's still got a little wiggle room because I had to break everything loose so I can still kind of move it around. The reason I did that was whenever I cut the back of this cab, everything's going to want to go all over the place. I have it held up with jack stands, so it shouldn't. Just in case I cut that and something tilts or falls, I don't want all the weight on just a couple tack welds. I still want to be able to move it just in case, you know, I don't get it where I want it. And what we'll do, we're getting ready to cut this guy right here, and then we can essentially separate both sides and get them perfect where I want them, side to side, front to back, and then we'll be able to come in here and weld struts to hold it where we want it, and then we'll start making all of our braces. So, it is time to cut some shit, baby. I think the sun's coming up is the only problem. And Richard, the video editor, is probably already bitching at me. Let's see. Yep, okay. We might not get the struts welded in this video, but we're definitely going to cut it. Let's cut some shit. I promised Tom, whenever I bought this truck from him, I wasn't going to get too crazy with it. We're just going to kind of do a nice, clean build, nothing too wild. But what he doesn't know is that I lie a lot. So let's cut some shit. All right, baby, ain't no turning back now. Oh, shit. Whoa, that almost cut my finger. Ah, there she went. I was wondering what was holding it up. All right, we need to get the rear wheel centered, and then we'll just figure out how much we ended up widening. Check it out. Center of the wheel well. Center of the wheel well. It's still pushed forward a little. Ooh, it might have moved on me. Might need to move the cab up just a little bit more. But I want it dead centers like right here, and I hate the way it looks when it's way back there. It just don't look right from the factory. But that might be, well, no, that might be right. I don't know. I'll break my tape measure out whenever it's time. But this wasn't nearly as crazy as I thought it was going to be. My dad mentioned doing this. I've done it before, but he mentioned doing it the other day. Well, I thought we had like a 6-inch wheelbase difference, and I was like, that, you know, this is probably only like 3 right now. That would be crazy if that cut was way back here in width. It just, they don't look right, but that, you won't even notice that whenever I get it all buttoned up, and it might be closer together or farther by the time I get it exactly where I want it. I know the bed's perfect. I might still mess with the cab a little bit. Sweet. And what's cool, since it's broke loose, we could do some hot rod shit and tilt the rear a bunch. They call it rake. I've done a couple chops with rake. It's kind of cool. You just have to do like a relief cut right here, and then you can lean this damn near back to where it would be a stock roof. Get it all the way in there, and then you have a bigger gap down here. Might not look great on this style truck because these are kind of boxy, but I don't know. We could play with it whenever we get to moving. The one big variable I have right now is, because this is all rusty, this is just moving wherever it wants. So there's no gap. There is a gap. It's just all floppy. So what I'll probably end up doing is getting this squared away. It's actually tucked in too much right now, but I'll probably end up getting this squared away and just tack weld it. That way it's there. And then I can also make sure my gap is perfect, because right now you can see the bed is just a little bit lower from where that body line is. Well, maybe it's not. Do these not line up? No, yeah, it's definitely off a little bit. So we will finalize all that before we weld anything. I want to make sure everything is dead square and exactly where I want it. I need 2 more jack stands. I need to go steal them from my other shop. And then I can get 4 jack stands on the bed, 4 jack stands on the cab, and then 2 on the front. And then I know everything will be exactly where I want it. We'll measure it 50 different times. And then come in here, start making braces down to the frame to hold it all together so that we don't have to do this 10 jack stand bullshit anymore. And I'm going to get on the phone with Tom, make a call, figure out what the hell was going on with this. What am I missing? I talked to him the other day. We were texting, and I know I'm missing stuff he still has, because he still has all the dash instrument cluster and shit. I don't really need that stuff, but boy, there might be some relays, or if there's like a little body control module like that somewhere that's not plugged in, that could cause all kinds of issues. But we did hear it run. It just didn't run very long. And luckily it's something silly. I can tell by how it wants to go. Something silly. We got good volts, good pressure on the fuel. Like everything wants to be there, but throttle shit's just shutting it down. Sweet. All right, we got to wrap this video up. I mean, that is one hell of a cliffhanger. I do some clickbaity fun shit every now and then, but that is a legit cliffhanger. She's going to stay like that till next video, because I got to get this video done. Sweet. All right, I talked to Tom today. had a conversation on the phone, and I think we actually have a bad throttle body. Apparently he had a buddy that had one going out, so they robbed this one, and I think somebody along the line changed the plug in there, and he thought that the Cadillac one got put back on, but he wasn't 100% sure. I think his buddy, or whoever it was, put the non-working one back on here, because I came in here last night after I was done filming. I regrounded 5 different things. There's like 10 grounds on this anyway. I added 6 more. I have 4 on the engine. I have 2 on the frame. I have 1. Oh shit. The doors don't like to open when you cut the cab in half. I have 1 giant cable going off of the pedal down to the frame, just so that I knew 100% the pedal was grounded, and I'm still having the exact same problem. Definitely is looking like it is that throttle body position sensor. Throttle body, Jesus, I can't talk. I also have 2 speed sensors that are broke on the transmission. Those can kind of throw some funky codes too. So I got some new plugins coming. I got all kinds of stuff coming. I bought 10 different parts for it. I usually don't like to switch parts out whenever you run into a problem, because a lot of times you'll start changing stuff that doesn't need changed, but everything is looking like it's that or something connected to that. So basically I got all kinds of stuff coming new. Don't know when it's going to be here, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'll probably, in the next video, start stitching the cab back together and making mounts so that the truck, if we get all the parts in and they actually work, we can take it for a drive, because once everything is mounted, I already have brakes. As long as I have a gas pedal, I can put the radiator in for coolant and we can take it around the block. So I think the goal for the next video is to get everything mounted so that it's one piece. I don't know if I'm gonna get all the sheet metal work done, but I would like to have it solid. So that's what we're gonna try. It sounds so much easier when you just say it out loud than actually doing it. That's probably like 50 hours worth of work, but hey, you can say it in 10 seconds, so it sounds like it's no big deal. Yeah, we'll just mount all the body. No big deal. If you want to see more of this truck, make sure you stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. For the coolest merchandise on the planet, go to Caseyscustoms.com. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, comment, all the good shit they tell you at the end of videos. Check out some of my other videos. Peace! I love ya. Look at that freaking cab. I gotta get to work. Bye! Toothless Customs out!